Fan Mo is a seemingly average boy who lives in modern-day China and is still in high school. His everyday life is riddled with problems because his family is very poor, with his father working day and night as a driver just to make the ends meet, and a crippled stepsister who is unable to do anything by herself and has to be taken care of for every task. One day he drifts off to sleep wearing an heirloom pendant, dreading the next day where he has to live the same life when he is transported into a fantastical world of magic and monsters. Despite entering a new and mystical world, his personal life is the same as it was in the old and plain world. His family is still poor, with his hard-working father struggling to pay the bills and a crippled stepsister to take care of. He sits the entrance exam for Magic Senior High School, but turns it in early because he doesn't know anything about magic. You see, he only had 3 months to study 9 years worth of material. Passing the test is required for anyone who wants to be a mage because it's the basic qualification that allows students to gain their magical talent in the Awakening event. A bunch of classmates behind him discuss what talent they want to have and start simping over a blue-haired guy named Bai Mu because he's pretty much guaranteed to become an ice talent mage like the rest of his family. Ice is one of the most powerful elements. Fan Mo walks over to his dad, who has been eagerly waiting for him outside the school. He asks him how the exam went, but Fan Mo was too ashamed to say anything. Understanding his silence, his dad tells him not to worry because he found him a well-paying job opening for a driver in a neighboring city. Not wanting to be a driver, Fan Mo begs his dad to give him another chance to become a mage that everybody respects. He refuses to stay a loser in this magical world. His dad senses his determination and tells him he will think of something if he is serious about it, and they both walk back home. The next day, he and his friend return from school together. The friend tells him Ningxu Niu had returned from the capital earlier that morning and that she looks even more beautiful than before. Fan Mo brushes it off and doesn't give any response. He notices his dad talking to a snobby-looking man named Mr. Mu, who he has been working for as a driver for years. He begs Mr. Mu to use his influence to get Fan Mo admitted to Magic Senior High as a favor. Mr. Mu scoffs at him, saying that not only did Mo Fan fail the exam, but he had also once tried to elope with his daughter, the heiress of the Mu family. His dad doesn't back down, saying that he will do anything in exchange for his son getting into the school. Mr. Mu agrees to help him if he pledges his house to him, and his dad agrees. Later that night, the dad tells Fan Mo that he got him admitted to the school while talking to one of his friends who is a director of Magic Senior High School. He also says that he will give the house up for rent because both him and his sister will be staying at the school full-time, and the dad is always out on his driving job anyway. Fan promises to be a powerful mage one day and make his family happy and wealthy. While doing his homework at night, he procrastinates just like you were while watching this video. Instead of studying hard to become a mage and help his family out, he recalls the time Ningxu Mu had requested him to take her away from her house. They had run away together but didn't get far before being caught. After that, Mr. Mu, along with his gang, broke into his house to beat up Fan Mo and his father for attempting to elope with the heiress of the powerful family. He still clearly remembers how Mr. Mu threatened to break both his legs if he ever laid eyes on his daughter again. The day of the Magic Awakening event, when all the students awaken their magical talent and begin their path toward becoming a mage, finally arrives. Everyone receives a badge that will bear a specific symbol once the power awakens, along the 7 stars. Usually the 7 stars are dark at the beginning, meaning the person is just a beginner. The stars start glowing one by one as the person becomes stronger. Having topped the exam, Bai Mu goes first and touches a crystal ball in front of the class to awaken his talent. As expected, he gets the ice talent like everyone in his family. Even one of his stars is glowing, showing he is already more skilled than the average beginner. Fan Mo goes last while everyone makes fun of him as he approaches the crystal ball. Nothing happens when he puts his hand over it, making everybody laugh. He tries once again with a renewed focus, and this time, a bright purple light beams out of the crystal ball. Everybody, even students from other classes, crowds around him with awe to see the purple light. Purple signifies the thunder element, the rarest and strongest element known to the world. Fan Mo enters a state of daze and remains standing with his hand on the ball for a long time. Everyone in the class has left when he regains his senses and notices that the ball has now turned glowing red. Fan Mo realizes that he has awakened not one but 2 of the most powerful elements. But for some reason, his classmates don't remember seeing him get the thunder talent. He can't wait to prove his classmates wrong with his newfound talents. 2 months pass since the awakening, and their teacher explains how to complete the magic release. The goal is to control the 7 stars that move at will in everyone's spiritual world by focusing your mind to bring the stars into a fixed and stable orbit. Achieving this causes one to complete the magic release, granting them their magical powers. Bai Mu already has control over 5 stars, the highest in the class. Fan Mo is the furthest behind, only being able to control one of his stars for his fire talent. After school, he sulks around over his mean classmates. He is frustrated that nobody knows he can already control 6 of the stars in his thunder talent. Still, he always somehow loses at the 7th star, making him unable to unlock his thunder abilities. While walking, he runs into his younger sister Xingxia at a park. He realizes she is stuck sitting on a swing because a group of delinquents took her wheelchair away. The leader likes her, but since he lacks the raise to actually win her love, he thinks blackmailing her by taking her wheelchair until she agrees to be his girlfriend is a good idea. Infuriated, Footman confronts them to take her wheelchair back, but they put up a fight. Ready to fight for his sister's honor, he channels all of his will into aligning the stars of his thunder talent. He successfully unlocks his first thunder ability, Wrath of Thunder, and electrocutes the leader. After learning he is a mage, the others get terrified of him and run away. Once gone, he returns the wheelchair to Xingxia, and she tells him how proud she is that he can use magic. Back at home, Fanmo practices aligning his fire stars in the bath because he desperately needs to pass the final exam. His father is taking a big risk by taking the driver job in the neighboring city because the surrounding cities have regular monster attacks. His father would be defenseless in such a scenario as he is just an ordinary, non-magic person. Xingxia asks him how he learned to use Wrath of Water so quickly. She suspects he joined Black Curia, a cult that helps people master their skills quicker. He reassures her that he was only able to do it because he practiced a lot privately. Once she leaves, he realizes that he can't show his thunder power to people just yet because it would raise such suspicions. The thunder talent will be his trump card while he practices hard to master his fire talent in time for the final exam. One day, a new practical magic teacher comes into class and introduces herself. Yutang is a fire talent mage and all the boys instantly fall for her looks and badass abilities. Fanmo also gains newfound motivation after watching her demonstrate her fire burst trick. However, while Fanmo spends all his time working hard on humming his skills and showing gradual improvement in his classes, Bai Mu and Mr. Mu's scheme over ways to make him fail like cartoon villains. They're still salty over the elopement and want to ruin his life for the incident. Mr. Mu plans on sabotaging his final exam by using a dark stone. The dark stone looks like a normal black pebble, but has the ability to absorb magical energy from anything it touches. With the help of a corrupt teacher, he plans on having the stone planted under the crystal ball during Fan's turn to absorb the light coming out of it, which would indicate a poor performance worthy of failing grade. With just a month remaining before the exam, their teacher explains the grading process. Students must touch the crystal ball, which judges their magical ability and glows in proportion to their strength. So the stronger a person is, the brighter the ball glows. Students can be graded between D to A, with D being the failing grade. Bai Mu asks the teacher if they will have to perform a magic release, like a nerd. The teacher points out that expecting a magic release from students within a year of learning is unreasonable, and so is not mandatory. However, if a student can pull it off, they get promoted to the elite class and are given a star bracelet, which enhances their abilities like an EXP boost. On the day of the final exam, Ningxu Mu comes to oversee the students' performance. Despite being the same age as them, she's a student at the prestigious Imperial College and is an expert at using the ice element. Bai Mu is hyped to prove his worth in front of her and at the same time show how weak and incompetent Fanmo is. Ningxu demonstrates her power to the school by touching the crystal ball, causing ice to spread from the ball down the podium and all the way to the ground near the students' feet. The poor crystal ball breaks down the middle. A new ball is placed on the podium and the students are called one by one to the stage. Fanmo's only friend, brown-haired Xiao Hao, gets an A, motivated to try harder. He is the first to attempt a magic release but fails. His classmates move him off the stage, proving how this school has the worst people ever. Ms. Tang pats him on the back and tells him it was a good try. Thanks, Ms. Tang. Bai Mu goes next. The crystal ball glows super brightly with two halos around it. He is in S grade, higher than the usual A. Noticing Ningxu in the audience, he also asks to perform the magic release. He successfully aligns all 7 of his stars and launches a line of creeping ice to freeze the target. He gets a good B grade for the magic release. His performance puts even more pressure on the next student, who just happens to be Fanmo. The examiner and Mr. Mu share a cheeky smirk before he goes on stage and secretly places the dark stone under the crystal ball as planned. Fan gets on stage and places his hand on the ball. To his surprise, the ball releases the weakest orange light. He tries again and still fails. Mr. Mu uses this chance to tell Ningxu how incompetent he is and how he has disgraced his family for not even managing to pass this exam. Ningxu remains silent as everyone else ridicules and makes fun of him. Fan doesn't stop trying, and eventually, the stone breaks after absorbing too much power. After that, the crystal ball brightens with one halo around it. The teacher gives him a B. Miss Tang, who was watching the whole time, suspects the crystal ball is faulty and appeals for a revaluation of Fan. The students support Miss Tang, thinking she must be saying that because she believes Fanmo deserves a lower grade. The teacher begs Miss Tang to drop her claim because he doesn't want Fan to fail in a fair retest. But Ningxu steps in and also presses for a retest. Another crystal ball is brought in immediately. As soon as Fan touches it, the ball blows a blinding red with rays of light encircling his body. With the Escher-82 asked to perform a magic release. Once the target is placed in front of him, Fan Mo expertly launches a big ball of fire, setting the target on fire and earning him a grade for the release. Recognizing his potential in Mr. Mu with a better hairstyle and higher standing than the usual, Mr. Mu calls him and invites him to be a part of the Mu family and offers him a Fire Star bracelet to better harness his powers. To everybody's shock, Fan Mo not only turns him down, but insults him and the family for belittling his father, treating him like a lapdog, and for breaking into their house to beat up him and his father, causing his father to receive a back injury that never healed. Mr. Mu tries to retaliate by using his ice powers, but the principal intervenes by pointing out no violence can take place within the school grounds. He asks Fan to apologize for disrespecting his elders, but Fan refuses. Mr. Mu threats to have him expelled, but the principal retorts that he won't be expelled. While he holds his position, Bai Mu challenges him to a duel to set things straight. Mr. Mu doubles down on the idea and declares the duel will be fought between Fan Mo and Ang Yu, his adopted son, who is even stronger than Bai. Fan agrees and decides that if he loses, he will apologize to the Mu family, but if he wins, the Mu family has to apologize to his father. According to the mage laws, duels are forbidden between underage mages, so they set up a date 2 years later to settle the fight once and for all. Ningxi smiles at Fan Mo before leaving with the rest. The next semester begins with Fan Mo at the top of the elite class. The teacher explained that there are 3-star bracelets which will be given to the top 3 students in the class for 1 month. However, as punishment for insulting the Mu family, Fan will only have the bracelet for 10 days, after which he will be passed to the 4th student. Since the bracelets are limited and highly valuable, a student returning them late or damaging them will not only result in their expulsion but also a ban from ever becoming a mage. Later that night, Fan stares at the bracelet while sitting alone in the dark. Every time he takes the bracelet out of his pocket, the mysterious pendant on his chain starts levitating. He puts the bracelet on when the pendant lifts up, unwinds, and the mouth of the fish opens up to eat the bracelet whole. Fan Mo frantically tries to get the precious bracelet back when Miss Tang approaches him from the back and correctly guesses that he lost the bracelet. He explains what happened and shows her the pendant. Upon inspecting it, she realizes that it is a one-of-a-kind magic gear that feeds on other gears like the bracelet in spurts to increase its boosting power. This explains why he was able to unlock 2 elements and how he was able to progress much faster than his peers. She advises him to keep the pendant a secret from others and grow it by feeding in other gears. She assures him she will take care of the lost bracelet matter and disappears. A few days later, the class goes on a field trip to Snowy Peak Outpost, a 24/7 heavily guarded place beyond which many man-eating monsters live. Fan goes there with his pendant clearly visible above his plain white t-shirt. Smart. The instructor there assigned them on a bounty hunt assignment. To cut them some slack for their inexperience, the whole class will be given an A if at least 1 student completes it. However, if nobody completes the hunt, the whole class fails. The students decide they'd rather give up to avoid risking their life, but the instructor calls them out for their cowardice despite being part of the elite class in the best magic school. He says that the students that successfully hunt down a monster will be awarded with a magic armor, a piece of magic gear that costs thousands. Fan, determined to get stronger for the duel, sets his sights on killing a monster. The class splits into different teams to explore the wilderness beyond the outpost, using their powers to get rid of any obstacles. 2 teams, which includes Bai Mu and Fan Mo, reach the cave that the instructor had ordered them to find. Their job is to inspect the cave to check if there are any one-eyed wolf demons remaining there after they were wiped out by the outpost mages, and to look for a star bracelet that the instructor lost down there. While the others scout the large cave in groups, Fan gets fixated on the pond outside the cave. His friend asks him what he's thinking. Fan points out that the pond is only half full despite it having rained right before they had arrived to the outpost, and the water line is still visible, indicating that something huge must have drank half the water from the pond. The friend panics and rushes to tell the others. Of course, they don't believe him and Fan and tell him to stay behind if they are too scared to enter the cave. Literally 10 seconds after entering, they face a giant wolf, causing everyone to scream and run around. Bai Mu tries to use his powers but fails to concentrate and almost gets bitten by the wolf. Another fire student tries to take it down, but Fan Mo carries her away before it pounces on her. While all the students are losing their mind, the instructors and teachers watch them from atop a cliff. In reality, the wolf isn't a one-eyed wolf demon, but is simply one of the instructor's much less fierce pet archwolf. It is simply a test to see if the students can use their magic in real dire situations. Just when the lead instructor believes none of the students are up to the mark, you see a flash of blue light come from the cave. Bai Mu successfully uses his level 1 creeping ice ability to lock the wolf in its place. After seeing Bai succeed, the same female student breaks out of Fan's hold and runs back to the cave to fight the wolf as well. All of her level 1 fire burst does is to melt the ice that Bai casts and set the wolf free completely unhurt. Another student with the Thunder Talon tries to save them, but it only stops the wolf for a couple of seconds. Realizing that level 1 magic has no effect on the wolf, Fan finally focuses and unlocks his level 2 fire ability, Cremation. It sets the wolf on fire, causing it to leap into the pond. The instructors and teachers are delighted to see a talented mage among the students, but the Wonder realizes that he no longer has control of the Archwolf. So far, the owner had it under his control so that it would not hurt the students. Now that it is completely free, they are under actual danger. The wolf first targets the girl, but Fan's brown-haired friend uses his wind powers to quickly take her away from the wolf's sight. Bai Mu tries to follow that with an attack, but the wolf jumps over him and tries to reach Fan. They all run deeper inside the cave while the wolf follows them. One of the classmates suggests they should run away while the small group fights the wolf so that their deaths aren't wasted. Thankfully, the others refuse to leave behind their friends. At this point, the lead instructor charges into the scene with angel-like wings and asks where the wolf is. Fan and his friend flee from the wolf with the help of his wind powers, but the wolf ends up hurting the friend when he tries to protect Fan from an attack. Angered after seeing his friend get hurt, he faces the wolf head-on, this time with his Thunder Talon. The wolf slows down after being electrocuted when Fan notices a giant spike hanging over the wolf. He uses his level 2 fire powers to make the spike fall and pierce right through the wolf's body. Once the wolf collapses on the ground, a small white orb comes out of the wolf and gets absorbed by his pendant. He doesn't waste much time thinking about it and rushes to his unconscious friend's aid. The lead instructor catches up to them and is shocked to see the wolf dead. Fan explains that he used his fire powers to make the spike kill it, but the instructor is still skeptical over how the Archwolf failed to dodge it with his razor-quick reflexes. Fan waves off his wonder by requesting help for his injured friend. Fan and the instructor start moving towards the exit, with the friend on the instructor's back. They run into the rest of class and teachers who came looking for the midway. They ask where the wolf is to find out that it is dead. Everybody assumes the instructor had killed it, and the owner demands to know why he killed it even though it wasn't a real threat to the experienced instructor. He explains that it wasn't him but Fan Mo that had killed it before he found him in the cave. Everybody finds it hard to believe how a mere student can fight a monster to death, with some still suspecting the instructor had ended its life. The owner runs to his pet's corpse and starts crying while hugging it tightly. The wolf didn't deserve to die for the school test. Nevertheless, this is the event that makes all of his classmates recognize Fan Mo's strength. They finally praise him for his abilities and thank him for saving their lives. Miss Tam points out how if the wolf wasn't under control at the beginning, those who weren't able to use magic to protect themselves would have died. In real life, monsters are merciless beasts that kill indiscriminately, and they must learn to face their fear and fight them. The lead instructor announces that the students who manage to use magic against the wolf get special recognition for their courage, and the whole class gets an A for passing the test. Fan Mo gets an S grade and a magic armor for being the one to kill the wolf. During the awards ceremony, the head even invites Fan to join their institution in the future for a comfortable life. However, his mind has been busy figuring out how Fan actually managed to kill the wolf. He remembers noticing how the ground was scorched around and below the wolf's body and how the wolf's face had strange black marks. His thoughts are interrupted by a guard who alerts him of bone wolf demon spottings in the west of their territory. He quickly gets into action and orders all the guards to find and kill the monsters. 2 months after the field trip, Fan Mu continues practicing his magic. After the wolf attack, he realized level 1 magic has no effect on monsters and that he needs to work on powering up. He had been spending all this time practicing his fire talent so far to show his abilities to others, but he also needs to improve his fire talent to get it up to level 2 at least. If it hadn't been for the giant spike, him and his friend would have died in the cave. According to Miss Tang, his pendant accelerates his progress by absorbing other gear, spirits, and monsters. If he is able to absorb more, he can upgrade his pendant to a spirit gear level, which can give him a 40% boost compared to the current 20%. So he decides to become a bounty hunter to earn money to feed his pendant and gain combat experience. The next day, he walks into the bounty hunter's hall with a black mask on to cover his face. The bounty hunter's hall is where the latest bounties with their money prize are listed for bounty hunters to pick from. There, he overhears a man give advice to a young mage about what digs to take. He approaches him to ask him if the monster hunter group is recruiting, to which the man points to a long line of applicants. The man advises him to save his time and look for simpler jobs, as the monster hunters are highly selective and only seasoned mages get in. Fan still wishes to join because the monster hunters fight monsters in the city, and remaining in the city would be most convenient in order to attend his classes as well. The man says that if he has the fire talent, it'll be much easier to get in. He asks if it would be easy with Thunder, and the man laughs, thinking he's joking. Since Thunder is so rare of an ability, even a newbie can get into any group. With this information, Fan gets in line to apply for the opening at Monster Hunter. Everyone before him gets rejected, causing the captain to get frustrated over the inexperienced applicants who underestimate the skills required to be a part of the group. For Fan Mo's turn, the junior employees ask him about his qualifications and almost turn Hai away for not even being a certified hunter. However, he demonstrates his Thunder talent to them, causing them and everyone in line to gape at the sight of an element they've never seen before. The captain bursts through the door and welcomes him into the Monster Hunter group, ignoring his inexperience, and dismisses all the other interviewees. He starts introducing Fan to the main members, starting with the deputy, an ice mage named Tang Kai. Fan recognizes her as one of Ningxi's cousin and hopes that she doesn't recognize him. The rest of the introductions are interrupted by intel that a girls' junior high school is under attack by demons and that one student is missing. The captain asks Fan to go back home, but he asks to join them on their mission, to which the captain agrees. On their way, he keeps trying to call his sister because she's a student at the school under attack. He worries that his sister could be the one missing. Once they arrive, the captain delegates different duties to the members and instructs Fan to inspect the canteen. At the canteen, Fan gets jump scared by his phone's ringtone. He answers it to hear his sister's voice. She explains that she forgot to take her phone during the emergency evacuation and is using a payphone to contact him. She says that although she is safe, she had sensed something lurking in the dorm. While evacuating, she spotted a girl walking in the opposite direction towards the canteen and is worried about her. He reassures her that he will look for her and ends the call. Right after hanging up, he makes eye contact with a huge one-eyed blue blob, a monster. It shoots a beam of explosive light toward him, but he is able to duck and dodge it, causing the window behind him to break and the surroundings to catch fire. This alerts the other members and they quickly arrive at the scene. The water mage blocks another beam of light that would hit Fan with a wall of water. They tell Fan Mo to retreat so that the experts can take care of it. They expertly maneuver around the monster's beams, while the captain uses his fire abilities to control the fire in the area to follow the demon. He gets roasted alive once his level 3 firestorm hits it in one strike. They relax once they think the threat has been taken care of, but the demon somehow survived the attack and opens its eye. It pounces at the off-board ice mage Tang. The captain orders the water mage to block it, but it simply passes through her shield and makes a gash on her clothes. Fan is the one to react quickly enough to take it down before it causes further damage by casting his Thunder Serpent power. The captain yells at the water mage for failing to stop the demon. He doesn't want to hear her apology because an apology in their group means someone's life could have been taken. He praises Fan for his amazing reflexes and promotes him as a full-time member for his good work. Later, Fan notices the rat demon's spirit as a yellow orb float out of his body and get absorbed in his pendant, like the wolf's had, but realizes that nobody can outsee it. The Monster Hunter's mission is not over yet. They still haven't found the missing girl yet. Some of the members only spotted a tunnel in the kitchen filled with the demon's footprints. They deduce there are more than just the one Cyclops rat demon they face, an operation the scale of which will need to be handled by the Association of Magic Societies. After having alerted them, the Monster Hunters leave the school. On their way back, one of the members who found Fan's phone on the canteen's floor points out that he has many missed calls from the same number. Fan returns home to find his sister via payphone. She is so relieved to see him safe that she tries to get off her wheelchair. He comes to her and hugs her, reassuring her that her brother can now take care of monsters and has gotten rid of the one in her school with the help of his team. He recounts the story lightheartedly to make her feel comfortable and tells her that her highest priority should be to protect herself for his sake. Meanwhile, at the Giant Yu residence, Ang Yu, Fan's featured duel opponent, has been leveling up quicker than his peers. He's already reached level 2 of his ice talent and should reach level 3 within a year, with which he will have the ability to freeze a huge area around him. Despite that, Sang is still dissatisfied with his progress because Ningsui is ahead of him. Mr. Mu tells him he should only be concerned with defeating Fan at the duel, an accomplishment which will earn him rewards from the master. He then goes to the cooler Mr. Mu and asks him why he has to duel Fan Mo, since he is an unworthy opponent. Mr. Mu agrees with his sentiment, but says he had no choice because it is what the principal and master wanted. As a bonus, he believes that winning the duel will be the first step towards Aang controlling the city. That's not all. As another bonus, the Sacred Spring is at stake. The Sacred Spring is a place where only one person is chosen to train in each year, and all schools and big families hope to score the position. Demonstrating his overwhelming powers in the duel will make him a candidate for the spring. At the same time, the other Mr. Mu and Bai meet at a garden to scheme as well. Bai notes that the master seems to favor Aang a lot and asks if he could be the next leader. Mr. Mu says that Ningxu is the only true heir to the Mu family, and that the master is only using Aang like a dog so that Ningxu can use him as a stepping stone to her position at the top. Over at the Monster Hunters headquarters, Fan gets his first frat paycheck. As a full-time member, he is excited to get a hefty amount for each mission as well as bonuses. This will let him feed his pendant quickly and level up even quicker. Due to his new gimmick, he doesn't attend school as much. One day, when he gets the time to show up to class, Min Zhao, the girl he saved from the wolf, approaches him. She asks him if he'd be willing to go out with her. He assumes she's fallen for him and agrees. He expects to go to a movie or a restaurant on their first date, but the address she gives him leads him to an empty alley. When she arrives, she starts talking about regular tremors occurring in the area. Confused, he asks her why she asked him out. She clarifies that her grandmother lives in a building nearby and that she has been experiencing frequent tremors at night. Worried that something might be wrong, she thought to ask him for help to investigate the area for monsters. He agrees to help and feels pretty confident about handling the issue since he's already taken care of 7 to 8 monsters on the job now. He takes his small bag out and opens it to spill revealing powder, a magical powder that reveals traces left behind by monsters. He investigates the newly emerged footprints and deduces it must be hiding in plain sight. At that instant, a giant one-eyed wolf emerges from the ground with a snack in his mouth. They watch it feed on a dead human, somebody who must have been homeless. It must have been lurking in the city for a while, hunting on the homeless because they are less likely to be detected missing by the police. This wolf is twice as big as the one they have faced on the field trip. Min is terrified and begs Fan to leave the place. He asks her to run away on her own, evacuate the block, and alert the police. However, Min says she isn't waiting and have the police on dial. The wolf immediately tracks the sound of the dial and chases them. Like last time, Fan carries her away from it and sets the path behind him ablaze with his level 2 cremation ability to buy them some time. The wolf is super strong though and keeps following them without seeming to care about the fire. He tells her to leave again and let him deal with the wolf. She refuses to leave him since there's no way students like them can face this demon alone. Still, he pushes her away and practically forces her to flee from the area. Now alone with the wolf, he pulls out the magic armor he was awarded to build a force field of thunder, but instead gets pushed back. Next, he tries to use his fire powers but is interrupted by the timely arrival of Tang Kai, the ice mage, who happened to be in the area when Min was alerting the civilians to evacuate. She casts a strong ice spell to freeze the demon's legs in place. Without his black mask, she recognizes the boy on the ground as Mo Fan, the one who disgraced the Mew family, and sternly tells him to leave. She contacts the captain to tell him that the wolf is probably a one-eyed wolf that has become mutated by absorbing the power leaked from the sacred spring. She requests Fan Mo, the masked monster hunter member with the same name as the Mew family's enemy, to arrive at the scene and sedate the demon with his thunder abilities. Surely the matching names are a coincidence, not suspicious at all. Fan rushes in last with all the members already there waiting for him. They had built a dome with ice around the wolf by the time of his arrival. He uses his level 1 thunder power to sedate it. The Capitan decides the best course of action is to wait until members from the Magical Societies associations show up to handle the situation, since using his fire powers may simply melt the ice dome and let the wolf loose in the city. The wolf eventually breaks out of the dome and starts evolving into a thorn-faced wolf, with spines growing out of its back. If it transforms completely, it'll become way past the Monster Hunters leagues. The captain commands his members to kill the wolf immediately before it fully evolves and wreaks havoc on the city. Despite all their attempts to slow it down, it still keeps evolving and melting the ice around it. The captain decides to rip the band-aid and uses his fire burst and firestorm spells to go on the offense full throttle. Doesn't have much effect except melt all the ice and set the monster free. It pounces at the hunters, but the water mage conjures a sturdy wall of water to block it, but it merely slows it down for a few seconds. The captain follows up by using his level 2 cremation power, while the earth mage makes pillars of rock appear in front of the wolf. The wolf runs right through them like they're made out of Play-Doh. Another wall of water appears in front of the captain to protect him. The wolf penetrates it, causing the captain to get assaulted with a wave of water. Ice doesn't have any effect on it either, and the wolf deflects the ice shields they conjure with its tough spines. One of the shards hit the captain, dealing severe damage to his arm. Fane uses his level 2 thunder ability to cast a thunderstorm. Being particularly vulnerable to thunder, this is the first move that slightly hinders the wolf. It struggles to move past the thunderstorm while its evolution also slows down. While Fan keeps it at bay, 2 hunters carry the captain to a safer distance. The party, knowing they have no chance of beating this monster, considers retreating while Fan holds it back as long as he can. Infuriated at the suggestion, the captain reminds them of their duties as monster hunters. If they hold their ground, at least they can keep the wolf in control until help comes, even if they lose their lives doing it. However, if they flee, thousands of innocent civilians will die. Despite his grave injuries, he stands up straight and helps Fan with his fire magic. Right at that moment, a flood of water appears out of nowhere and submerges the wolf. The mages are shocked to witness a mid-level water-powered tsunami in front of them. That well-dressed, long-haired man approaches Fan from the back and tells the monster hunters to stand back as he takes care of the beast. It sprints towards the weakened wolf and summons the mid-level tornado skill. A tornado appears, sucks the wolf into its spinning vortex, takes it to a great height, and drops it to its death. The spirit of the dead thorn-faced wolf gets absorbed by Fan's pendant. Turns out the man is Mr. Yang, an experienced and powerful member of the Association of Magical Societies. He and the hunters discuss if they should sound the city alarm due to the recent high-volume emergence of monsters in the city. Mr. Yang thinks the alarm would only cause panic among the people and recommends increasing manpower for city patrol for the time being. After the mission, Fan tries to figure out what's up with his pendant. It has become heavier and bigger since it absorbed the wolf's spirit. While looking at it, the pendant starts glowing a bright blue. He guesses this must mean that it has leveled up to spirit level. With this new level, he will be able to progress even faster and might even reach level 3 in both his fire and thunder talents by the time of the duel. All things seem to be going well for him. The next time he meets his sister, he gives her some of the money he's earned as a hunter to buy a phone to replace the one she lost on the day of the school monster attack. She shares that she's awakened the healing talent, a type of white magic. Usually, beginners can only awaken elemental magic like fire, thunder, water, etc., but her teacher said there are some exceptions. She says that she knows whatever he's doing to earn money is dangerous and offers to help him with her magic if he ever needs it. The next day, Fan goes to the principal's office to discuss the upcoming duel. It will take place on the day of Aang's coming-of-age ceremony, and the new family is making it a huge deal by inviting all the celebrities and big names to the ceremony. The intention is clear. They intend to make the duel the event's highlight and showcase Aang's abilities. The principal points out that this is only one of their motives. They also wish to secure Aang's place in the Sacred Spring that year. The school wishes to send their top student Fan to train there, says only a single mage is allowed to train there each year. Fan will have to defeat Aang to prove his worth for access to the spring. Even though they believe Aang has the upper hand in terms of magical and training resources, they ask Fan to give his best try at the duel to earn the school some recognition. He realizes that even his own school doesn't have much faith he will win. Still, he stays determined to win, restore his family's honor, and enter the Secret Spring to become a mid-level mage. The day of the coming-of-age ceremony is fast approaching. Master Mu tells Ningsu how he has put so much effort into Aang's development so that he can ultimately become Ningsu's loyal assistant. She is destined to control even more than just this city. She asks him if the duel must take place publicly, to which the master replies that Fan has caused extreme shame to the Mu family and must be shamed publicly as well. She excuses herself and leaves the room. He approaches Fan sitting alone in a spot overlooking the Mu mansion, from where he can see the stage of the duel that will take place the next day. She advises him to skip the duel and run away from the city because Aang will show no mercy. Fan turns down the idea at explaining that her father is a bully who would relish in backing down. He wishes to honor his own father, who has worked all these years to raise him and his sister without their mother, who abandoned them shortly after Xingqia's birth. He never complained even after being beaten up and shamed by the Mu family for his son's mistake. He must have proved to his dad that all he gave up for him to become a mage wasn't a waste, while also proving to the world that his dad isn't a fool. The ceremony day finally arrives. Tang graciously greets the monster hunters at the mansion, but immediately changes her tone when Fan arrives unmasked. The other hunters miss their teammate Mo Fan, who said he couldn't come that day. When they see Fan's backball walking inside, they feel like they recognize him from somewhere. Tang explains that they had seen him briefly when arriving at the Wolf Demon's scene, before she'd ordered him to leave. They find more similarities between Fan and Mo Fan, but time assures them that their Mo Fan is 10 times more talented. Fan's classmates meet him while he gobbles up food before the duel. They come to show him support, but he seems carefree enough on his own. His dad was also inviting to see the duel. Master Mu takes to the stage to raise a toast to Aang and his future in leading the city. Amidst the cheering, he announces the duel to the guests. Everybody gathers at the arena to spectate the much-awaited duel. Aang confidently strides toward Fan, armed with at least 3 kinds of magic gear. The two firmly shake hands, Aang casting a spell to freeze her hands while Fan counters it with fire spell to melt it. Then they take up opposite positions in the arena, facing each other. Master Mu signals the duel to commence. Aang goes on the offense first by sending a sheet of ice using level 2 magic, which Fan promptly melts with Fire Burst. Fan retaliates with multiple level 2 cremation fireballs, which Aang dodges with swift speed thanks to the magical earth element shoes he has equipped. Aang surprises the crowd by unleashing the level 3 ability, Creeping Ice Storm, to rapidly freeze the whole arena ground. The Ice Storm is capable of freezing a one-eyed wolf to death in a matter of minutes. It seems to be a quick end to the duel, but Fan persists with a wall of fire to protect him from the cold. It is, however, snuffed out eventually. The principal insists on ending the duel at that point as the ice storm may kill Fan. but Master Mu prolongs it by saying the fire mage should be able to withstand for longer. Fan tries to unlock his level 3 firepower for the first time, but the sub-zero temperature makes it hard to concentrate and he has always failed at focusing the 5th star into orbit. However, the desperation of saving his life allows him to align all 7 stars. He casts a powerful level 3 ignite spell, successfully keeping the ice at bay. He then launches attacks on Aang, who dodges them with his shoes. Fan decides to use a different weapon and unleashes his newly obtained level 3 Firestorm attack. The large-scale offensive spell hits Aang, causing him to hit the ground and injure his legs. The audience isn't awed to see a beginner from a poor family take Aang down. Aang is not done though. He gets up and removes his scorched cloak to reveal magic armor underneath. The head instructor from the Snowy Peak outpost, who was watching the duel, gets up from his seat and announces Fan to stop fighting. The magic armor is fireproof and the audience has already recognized his great abilities. Aang scoffs and eggs Fan on, saying he should surrender because his poor father can't afford anything to make him win. Not wanting to hear yet another insult being thrown at his father, Fan refuses to surrender. He finally pulls out his trump card, his Thunder talent. Everybody, including Aang, is beyond shocked to find out that he has not one but 2 of the strongest elements at level 3. He unleashes a mighty Thunder Dragon that penetrates Aang's armor and shatters it to bits, ending the duel. After the duel, Fan goes up to Master Mu to demand an apology to his father to honor the terms of the duel. Surprisingly, Master Mu complies and gets down on his knee and apologizes to Fan's father for insulting and beating him the day Fan Mo had tried eloping with Ningxu. Fan Mo is awarded the right to accept training at the Sacred Spring, the most powerful magical site where only one young mage can be sent each year to train and boost their strength. After the duel, he and his class celebrate at a barbecue restaurant where everybody admires Fan Mo for possessing 2 talents. He shares that he will be going to the Sacred Spring next week to train for 7 days. The teacher praises him and wishes him well for his future. One day, Fan's friend Xia Hao and a black-haired girl from class named He Yu are hanging out while she rants about her inability to use magic under stress. Xia Hao offers to give her some tips. They spot Fan Mo and his sister, Xingxia, on the street, even though he is supposed to be at the Sacred Spring. Xia Hao goes up to Fan to ask him why he's still here, to which Fan replies that he's buying his sister a gift for her 16th birthday. Xia Hao offers to take her back home so that he can leave for the Sacred Spring. Fan Mo excuses himself and gets on his way, arriving at a tall skyscraper where Miss Tang and Master Mu are waiting for him. They get on an elevator which takes them down to 4B15 and they lead him to a door. Behind the door is the Secret Spring where he can train for a week. Before he enters, Miss Tang hands him a star chart book which he can use when he reaches star chart level to release spells. He runs into the captain and tells him how shocked he was to find out the Mo Fan and his Monster Hunter party was Fan Mo all along. Fan asks why he is here, to which he replies that he's come here to talk to the guard of the Sacred Spring, who happens to be the sister of the girl that went missing from the school during the Cyclops attack. He and the sister went to investigate the cave behind the cafeteria and found multiple Cyclops tracks and mysterious liquid, which they suspect to have come from the Sacred Spring. They are still trying to figure out what it means. The captain tells Fan Mo to just concentrate on his training so that he can become the second youngest nebulous mage after Ningxu Mu. Fan Mo abruptly leaves after hearing her name. The door to the Sacred Spring is heavily guarded and opens only to Fan, closing immediately after he enters. There is no way to go but forward on the narrow passage toward the central platform, with water around it as far as the eye can see. Fan can feel his power increase as soon as he sits at the center of the platform. Meanwhile, the missing girl's sister inquires about the liquid found in the caves. The lab technicians confirm that analysis reveals the liquid is similar to that found in the Sacred Spring but has the opposite effect. It affects beings by filling them with hatred and bloodthirst, dubbing the liquid Spring of Rage. The presence of this liquid in the cave explains why the Cyclops, usually timid monsters that hide in the dark, are causing rampages in the city. Rain begins pouring over the entire region, including the Snowy Peak outpost. Patrol Squad 4 hasn't returned from their rounds, unsettling the commander. Suddenly, 2 bright red flares flash from the middle of the dense woods, signaling a code blue emergency. Panic erupts in the watchtower as Patrol Squad 4 relays a message to the commander that they are being attacked by a ferocious monster, the likes of which they'd never seen before. Their 2 light mages were killed while sending the first 2 flares. Otherwise, they would have sent 4 flares to signal a code blood emergency, which means a catastrophe is occurring. The commander issues a code blood alert and dispatches his soldiers to face the threat. A line of fire mages shoot fire at the group of one-eyed wolves trying to infiltrate the fort, but the highest level mage is killed by a huge white wolf with ice spikes on its back. A messenger informs the commander that monsters have been sighted within the city. Nobody knows how this is possible because the outpost is still handling the monsters in the mountains. making it impossible for them to reach the cities. The commander rallies his mages to go to the city and help the citizens evacuate into the safety zone by dividing into two groups, one protecting the civilians while the other kills the monsters. Alarms blare in the city to alert civilians of monsters detected in the city. The teacher forces his students back into class while Miss Tang saves a child from a one-eyed wolf. She is shocked to see a Pterolicus, a flying wolf monster, in the sky. The Mu family leaders, including Master Mu and Mengsu, rush out to fight. Mengsu takes down multiple one-eyed wolves with her strong ice powers. One of the wolves shoots a laser that hits Master Mu, causing him to collapse. Mengsu is forced to flee the scene on a flying pet beast to help her injured father, but she is worried for Fanmo, who is inside the sacred spring and completely oblivious to the dangerous situation outside. Meanwhile, Fanmo trains hard in the sacred spring to unlock the nebula level, but is failing so far. He recalls what Miss Tang taught him before coming to the spring. She explained that he needed to level up so that his spiritual space grows to form a nebula of 49 stars. This would make him a nebula mage who can use star chart magic by aligning the 49 stars into 7 orbits of 7 stars each. Keeping that in mind, he studies the book of star chart that Miss Tang gave him to try and get better. However, he is interrupted by a giant tremor during an attempt to align the nebula. He decides to exit the spring to check out what's going on when he sees a guard getting attacked by a Cyclops monster. The guard who was talking to the captain earlier protects Fanmo from the monster and escorts him back to the spring. She introduces herself as Yuxin, the deputy captain of the building. She touches one of the slabs made of the platform, causing the entire spring to drain and a small vial to emerge from the slab. She explains that this is an emergency safety protocol and that the vial contains all the water from Sacred Spring. They go down a flight of stairs that leads them to an ancient tunnel at the bottom of the spring, which serves as an alternate exit. While walking through the tunnel, Yuxin explains that the Black Curia, a cult of dark mages, have created Spring of Rage liquid which they have infused into the rainwater, causing the monsters to go rampant and attack the city. The exit leads to a hill slope from where they can see a giant Pterolicus atop a skyscraper in the city. The civilians in the city run for their lives as thousands of monsters attack them. The group of delinquents that previously tried forcing Xinxia into becoming their leader's girlfriend meet a bloody end at the hands of one-eyed wolves. Xinxia is also chased by one but is saved at the last moment by a man who pulls her into a building. The people inside close the doors to protect themselves from the monster, but the man knows the doors aren't enough to keep the monsters away for long. After seeing the dire situation in the city, Fanmo decides to go look for his father and Xinxia. Yuxin requests him to take the secret spring vial with him, saying that the Black Curia will target her since she is the deputy captain of the spring. They cannot afford to lose the vial to them, so Fanmo should keep it as he would not be one of the targets. He refuses, saying he doesn't care about the sacred spring and wishes to take care of his family. Frustrated, Yuxin asks him if he thinks the guards that lost their lives while protecting him in the sacred spring had no family. Yuxin, too, had a sister that she lost to a Cyclops while she was on a mission, but she stuck to the mission until the end, knowing that she's a mage who must protect the people. Understanding, Fanmo accepts the vial and gives her a photograph of his family, asking her to protect them if she sees them in the city. Fanmo's father was delivering goods to the outpost when the invasion began. Since then, he has been trying to return to the city in one piece. He runs into Mr. Mu, whose car shut down while he was driving his way to the safety zone. He gets into the father's car and tells him to build the safety zone. Father refuses, saying you must first go downtown to look for Fanmo, since he is at the sacred spring there. Mr. Mu says that is foolish to do since the sacred spring building was the first to get attacked, and everyone there is surely already dead. The dad persists and tells Mu to either get out or go downtown with him. He has no choice but to go. Even the magic school students are having a hard time, with most students getting turned into a snap for the Cyclops. Mim, the fire mage classmate, gets chased by one of the wolves, which she tries killing with her raging fire spell. It seems to work for a second, but the monster gets back up and almost bites her head off, but Baimu saves her by casting a powerful ice spell. He uses her a baseball bat to defend herself in case she gets too stressed to use magic at some point. He's surprisingly calm in the situation and tells them to follow him. He saves another student by freezing one of the Cyclops with congealing ice. Shia Hao and the Hiyu seem to be having their own romance subplot, hide from the monsters in the hallway. However, they get surrounded by 2 Cyclops monsters on both sides. Hao carries her in his arms and teleports them to a higher floor using his wind powers. However, he gets attacked by a one-eyed wolf that stamps him to the ground. He tells her to run away and leave him, but she doesn't have the heart to. Right when it looks like their love story will meet a tragic end, a huge thunderbolt strikes the wolf and sends it flying. Fan Mole finally makes his heroic appearance at the school. He uses his Thunder Serpent on it, but the wolf still doesn't die. Hazayaho uses his wind magic to lower its defenses, and Fan Mo finishes the job by using Raging Fire to burn it to a crisp. He then takes them to the stadium, where the rest of the surviving students are. Things at the stadium aren't good either, with Baimu showing more leadership than some of the teachers who suggest abandoning the students to save themselves. Luckily, the other teachers shut down the idea and decide on another plan. They need to get everyone to the safety barrier in the city. First, a small pioneer team formed of the talented students will scout the way ahead and find a route with fewer monsters, while the larger Exodus team will follow their lead to avoid being attacked. The teachers ask students to volunteer for the pioneer team, but no one seems eager to risk their lives with such a dangerous task. Min, the other Thunder student, and Baimu boldly step forward for the task. At this point, Fan Mo, Hazayaho, and Yu arrive at the stadium. Fan Mo deduces that it is even more dangerous to be in the Exodus team because most of the students in it are weak and not brave enough to use magic in stressful situations, so there is no strength in their numbers. Additionally, the larger group will attract more monsters, making them more vulnerable to attacks. Their survival will be more likely in the Pioneer team. Hence, Fan Mo, Hazayaho, and the girl volunteer to be on the Pioneer team. Everybody is overjoyed and relieved to see their strongest classmate, Fan Mo, still alive. Meanwhile, the Sacred Spring Deputy Captain Yuxin has been holding her own this entire time alone. However, she's almost out of stamina when being chased by a black beast. She casts a spell, but it misses, and the beast leaves toward her. It would have been game over for her, but she is saved by the timely arrival of Mr. Yang, who assaults the beast with a giant stream of water. Yuxin thanks him for saving her life, and they start discussing Black Curia's motives. They believe the cult's main objective is to obtain the Secret Spring's water, which they will use to lure the monster commanders into attacking the city. Yuxin tells him that she gave the vial to Fan Mo because the Black Curia members would not suspect him of having it. Mr. Yang says she made the right call. Since he's only a star mage, it is unlikely that he will survive by himself. They split up to look for him. Ningxu and Master Mu arrive at the safety barrier on the pet beast's back. Ningxu requests medical help for her father and asks if any Sky Magical High School students have come to the barrier. Helpers say they haven't seen any students at the barrier yet, causing Ningxu to worry for Fan Mo's safety. Or at the school, the Pioneer team, consisting of 9 students and a teacher, transforms into their magic gear to start their mission. Upon the teacher's instruction, they spread out and scout the area. Hazayaho spots a Cyclops monster gnawing a kid at a newsstand and alerts the others. However, it disappears once the teacher and Fan Mo arrive. The teacher tells the Wind Mages to use their speed to scout the area ahead and hunt it down while the other members will tail him. One of the Wind Mages, Yalao, gets struck down from behind by the Cyclops. Her scream alerts the other students, who gather around her in panic. They attack the Cyclops monster, with the teacher landing the final blow with his blinding lightning power. Unfortunately, Yalao died from the attack. The students take a moment to mourn her death. The teacher asks Fan Mo how he can be so calm and attack the monsters despite being a student. Fan Mo shares that he joined the Monster Hunters party when he was in sophomore year, giving him the experience he needed to face monsters, but he admits that he is still scared by the current situation. Hazayaho returns to report having seen 3 one-eyed wolves ahead, one at the fountain, one in the rock garden, and another in the woods. With his experience from his time at the Monster Hunters, Fan Mo formulates a plan. He tells Hazayaho to stall the wolf at the fountain by making it chase him in zigzag lines since the wolves are slower when running in different directions. He tells Baimu to stall the one in the woods by freezing it in place. The others, including Fan Mo, will use that time to kill off the wolf in the rock garden and then progress to the wolves in the woods and fountains, dealing with them one at a time. Fan Mo reassures them that if they work together, their different talents can easily take down the monsters, and that they will realize the monsters aren't so scary. The students get motivated by his words and agree to his plan. Hazayaho goes to the fountain and recalls his plan while watching the wolf from behind. The wolf detects him and immediately starts sprinting toward him, almost slashing Hazayaho apart with its long black claws. He uses his wind powers to run away in a zigzag line, which seems to work at first. However, the wolf uses the trees to bound forward more quickly and eventually catches up to him, slashing his shoulder. He tries to run away on his own 2 legs, but is too slow and gets slashed across the back. Panicking, he uses his wind magic to whiz into a gazebo and hide there. The wolf soon starts approaching the gazebo, but Hazayaho collects his thoughts and waits until the wolf lunges to flee at the last moment with the 3rd level of Wind Magic's Fleeting Shadow ability. This causes the wolf to get injured by the rebel falling over it, slowing it down. Azaihao runs toward the end of the park, where there is a stack of large iron beams against the wall. The wolf follows him till he is cornered near the wall, and it pierces his black claws into Azaihao. However, thanks to the fleeting shadow ability, the wolf actually attacked Azaihao's projection, causing the wolf to pass his claws through thin air, lose its balance, and fall into the stacks of iron beams that pierce right through its body and kill it. Relieved, Azaihao realizes the one-eyed wolves aren't as scary as he thought. Meanwhile, Baimu tries to freeze the one-eyed wolf in the woods but knows his ice powers are too weak to keep the monster frozen for long. His friend, who accompany him, suggests running away and directly heading toward the safety barrier, but Baimu calls him foolish for thinking they could make it without the help of the others. Baimu manages to freeze it completely for the time being, and they run toward the rock garden to inform the others of the situation. Over at the rock garden, Fanmo and the other Thunder Talent students subdue the one-eyed wolf with their combined powers, but they know it isn't enough to kill it. Azaihao arrives there but cannot stand due to his injuries, causing everyone to worry. At the same time, Baimu and his friends emerge from the woods with their wolf closely following them. Fanmo directs a fire attack toward it and follows it with Thunderstorm and multiple other fire spells, burning the wolf to a crisp. 2 wolves down, 1 to go. With the united efforts of the Pioneer team, the third wolf is also defeated. Everybody thanks Fanmo for his leadership, but being a good leader, Fanmo credits the entire team's work. If it wasn't for Baimu having frozen the wolf in the woods before, it would have been much stronger and Fan wouldn't have been able to kill it so easily. He urges them to remember that the key skill for mages is teamwork. He tells Baimu to use his strong creeping ice ability to protect the team, rather than using it as an attack move to freeze enemies. He asks Siyu to work with the teacher to protect the team, but she thinks she can't do so because she gets too stressed to use magic when faced with a monster. The teacher tries to comfort her when Azaihao uses his little strength to tell her to be more confident in her abilities before passing out. This makes the others notice his grave wounds, which won't stop bleeding. The teacher says that ordinary bandages and fire will not stop the bleeding. What he needs is a hemostatic agent, which they can obtain from a nearby pharmacy. Fanmo volunteers to retrieve it, but Azaihao tries to stop him, saying it is not worth wasting time to save him. Fanmo holds his friend's hand and points out that the team wouldn't be able to do anything without the valuable scouting that wind mages provide. He promises to return with the hemostatic agent soon. Far away from the city, Fanmo's father races toward the safety barrier with Mr. Mu and Tao. However, one of the tires gets punctured by the worst of luck, causing the car to stop. The father frantically tries to change the tire, receiving no help from Mr. Mu. He gets frustrated and begs Muga help but sees the passenger seat empty. Yaksit is still looking for Fanmo when she runs into Instructor Yang Bai from the outpost, who has come to the sea with his archwolf. He tells her that he is tasked with finding and protecting a student from Sky Magic High School. Guessing he must be referring to Fanmo, she decides to hand the task to him completely and spend the rest of her time trying to attract the Black Curia toward her for the Sacred Spring. Meanwhile, the other Pioneer team members continue looking for a route toward the safety barrier, with Xayavu being carried by one of the students. One of the Earth Mages uses his wave detection skill to scan the area for monsters. He reports that there aren't any monsters nearby, making the streets safe for passage. While walking through it, the team finds the complete silence suspicious. Wondering how a city rampaged by monsters can have an area completely deserted, Baimu shushes them and looks ahead through the edge of a wall. They are petrified to see a foreign-faced wolf, a warrior-level monster. Baimu explains that there are 3 levels of monsters, with the lowest being slave, followed by warrior, and finally, the terrifying commander level. The Cyclops and one-eyed wolves they have faced so far belong to the slave level, but a warrior-level monster is way beyond their leagues. Fanmo desperately searches the area for a pharmacy, determined not to let his friend die. He recalls their time together at school when Sayaho shared his dream of attending a good university in a bigger city. He enters an abandoned pharmacy, but cannot find the hemostatic agent anywhere. While roaming the store, he notices a hole in the floor and inspects it to find his Cyclops monster-devouring corpse. It shoots a laser beam from its eye, which Fanmo dodges. The force causes a few medicines to fall from above. Luckily, one of them is the hemostatic agent he needs. He grabs it before the Cyclops jumps out of the hole and tries attacking it. The Cyclops jumps out of the store and prepares to attack him again, but is grabbed by the much bigger warrior-level foreign-faced wolf, who tosses it into its mouth and swallows it in one gulp. Fanmo escapes by getting into a sewage pit and reunites with the rest of the team through the drains. He gives the hemostatic agent to the teacher, who applies it to Xaiaho's wounds, causing them to get healed instantly. Meanwhile, the Exodus team has started their journey through the path cleared by the Pioneer team. They come across Yilao's dead body on the street. They finally appreciate the huge risk the Pioneer team is taking to help them reach the protected barrier. They decide to carry Yila's body to the barrier for a proper send-off. The Pioneer team manages to make it close enough to see the walls of the safety barrier. All they need to do is cross the moat in front. There, they run into Instructor Yang Bai on his archer wolf. He tells Fan Mo that he has been looking for him, and that you should hand over the Sacred Spring Vial to him for better protection. Sensing something wrong, Fan Mo backs away and says he will hand the vial directly to the commander, Kan Zhan himself. Yang Bai reveals his true colors, intending to kill Fan Mo to attain the vial. He asks Fan Mo one final time to hand over the vial, and by doing so, he will spare their lives. This confirms that Yang Bai is a part of the Black Curia, meaning the Sacred Spring cannot get into his hands at any cost. Fan Mo refuses to give the vial, saying he had killed one of his archwolves before and can do it again. Yang Bai snaps his fingers to summon 3 black beasts from the ground. They pounce at him at once, causing Fan Mo to tell the others to fall back. During the little time that he turns back, the archwolf tramples him to the ground. One of the black beasts attacks Xia Hao, but his wind magic doesn't work. At the last moment, a small water shield protects him from the blow. Xia Hao makes the horrifying discovery that he made the water shield at the cost of getting stabbed by one of the beasts. All this focus diverts to her, and one of the Thunder Mages protects him from the beasts with a thunderstorm. The students work together to take the 3 black beasts down while Xia Hao rushes to Hiyu's aid. Hiyu says she is glad to have finally used her powers to protect someone. Xia Hao yells at her for endangering herself, but she uses her last breath to tell him she did so because he is very important to her. After that, her eyes shut, falling Xia Hao's arms. At the outpost, Kan Zhan receives word that one of the members of Patrol Squad 4 survived the initial attack. The survivor alleges that the light mage that sent the flares was killed before sending the third by a pet archwolf. With this information, the commander suspects the only member in the outpost who owns an archwolf, Instructor Yang Bai. Over the inner side of the barrier, the protected barrier guards inform Master Mu of the current situation while a nurse bandages his wounds. Refugees are flooding into the barrier all at once, causing much chaos. Ningxu overhears the guards talking about a large group of Sky Magic high school students approaching the barrier. Hopeful that Fan Mo is still alive, she tries to leave the barrier to help him. However, Master Mu forbids her from doing so and orders the guards to ensure that she does not leave without his permission. Fan Mo, still trapped under the Archwolf's claws, watches as more and more of his friends become casualties. He uses both his fire and thunder powers to fling the Archwolf across and free himself. Yang Bai says that no matter how much he tries, his friends will die if he doesn't give the Sacred Spring to him. Fan Mo pulls out the vial containing the Sacred Spring, but instead of giving it to the instructor, opens it and drinks it. The energy from the spring upgrades Fan Mo to a much higher level, with which he strikes the Archwolf down with a powerful thunder spell. He, Min, and Bai Mu work together to kill one of the black beasts. However, the Archwolf recovers and throws Min across. While the students fight the monsters, the teacher lays low and crawls toward Yang Bai from a cliff above. He plans to kill Yang Bai, because if he dies, his pets will also disappear. He uses his blinding radiance magic to stun him while Fan Mo sends a fire and thunder combined attack. However, Yang Bai manages to evade it because he had planted one of his black beasts under the ground in front of him to absorb attacks. Bai Mu charges toward Yang Bai with a black ice sword, successfully landing a lethal blow on him and causing the beasts to disappear. Hiyu's death brings a cloud of gloom over the team as Xia Hao cries over her body. Multiple outpost guards, including Mr. Yang, arrive at the scene to see their colleague Yang Bai dead. They prepare to attack the students who killed him, but Fan Mo explains that Yang Bai was a Black Curia member who attacked them first. He presents the black puddles left behind by the beasts as evidence. Mr. Yang orders some of the investigators to bring samples of the puddles and Yang Bai's body back to the protected barrier, while the rest escort the students safely to the barrier. There is no point in sorting the matter outside where other monsters can attack them. Hence, the Pioneer team finally makes it into the protected barrier after losing 2 members. They send word to the Exodus team who celebrate their achievement and start moving quicker toward the barrier. Meanwhile, a group of outpost guards scans the area around the Sacred Spring building atop which the Pterolacus is. The whole perimeter is surrounded by one-eyed wolves and foreign-faced wolves, making it nearly impossible for them to reach the building, let alone kill the Pterolacus. They wonder how the one-eyed wolves and other monsters arrive in the city even when they were guarding the mountain. The only possible answer they can think of is that the Black Curia used space magic, which is most difficult to master. The group is about to retreat when the Pterolacus detects them and sends a death ray that incinerates them all. Inside the barrier, the Pioneer team observes the horrible condition of the surviving refugees, most of whom are gravely injured. Fan Mo goes to represent the team in a meeting with the outpost investigators who wish to discuss the subject of Yang Bai's death. The autopsy report reveals signs of decaying black beast in his heart, confirming that he was a spy for Black Curia. Kang Jian apologizes to Fan Mo for the death of his teammates at the hands of the traitor Yang Bai. He asks him how he suspected Yang Bai before anyone from the outpost did. Fan Mo answers that he didn't suspect him but was simply being alert. When he refused to hand over the vial immediately, Yang Bai showed his true colors. Kang Jian praises his smart thinking and asks for the vial. However, Fan Mo says he can't because he drank it, causing Kang Jian to snap and tackle him. After calming down, he realizes it is best that the sacred spring no longer exists and that their most important objective is to defeat the commander-level Tyrolicus. Kang Jian assesses his odds and realizes he only has 50% chance of killing the monster if they fight one-on-one, and the probability decreases to 10% if he has to fight the Tyrolicus along with the surrounding wolves as well. Despite this, he rallies his men and motivates them to fight to their death in order to protect the city's people. They storm out of the barrier with their winged beasts to face the Tyrolicus. Fan Mo remains on the roof to see them leave. Ning Shu, who also comes up to the roof, is overjoyed to see him and hugs him. Master Mu accuses him of abandoning the other students to escape to the barrier. Frustrated at this grown adult constantly targeting him, he retorts that Master Mu himself ran into the barrier despite having the power and influence to help people. Ning Shu butts in and tells Fan Mo not to criticize her father. Fan Mo gets pissed off and leaves. Meanwhile, Fan Mo's father finally arrives in the city area to see all the people that are still remaining or the dead ones. After mistaking a corpse for his son, he is chased by a giant monster and is backed into a corner. As a non-magic user, he is completely helpless against it. Thankfully, he is saved by Yuxin, who unleashes a storm of water on the monster. Recognizing him from the photograph Fan Mo had given her, she asks him if he is his father, but he loses consciousness. Yuxin looks up and realizes there are even more monsters she has to face. Fan Mo enters the military investigation room to find out his father and Xingxia entered the barrier. Officer Cheng receives intel from a patrol that the monsters are entering Bao City through underground tunnels. If they don't find the openings of these tunnels and destroy them, monsters will keep pouring in. Fan Mo recalls his missions with the monster hunters and shares that there were hints of these tunnels when the Cyclops invaded a school and kidnapped one of the students. Cyclops are expert diggers, and so locating their past attacks should reveal the underground tunnels they made. Fan Mo contacts the monster hunters to look through the records of all their missions and pinpoint the locations of past Cyclops attacks. Turns out that the most common settings of Cyclops occur at Epigraph Girls Junior High School, meaning the biggest entrance to the tunnels might be there. From this point on, the military joins forces with the monster hunters to search for the underground tunnels. Fan Mo exits the building and hears his father's voice. They hug each other, relieved to see the other alive. The father explains that Yuxin had saved his life and helped him reach the barrier. The monster hunters reveal that her dead body was found in the city, probably having died while trying to protect others like Fan Mo's dad. Xingxia is a student at Epigraph Junior High, and she can't move around much with her wheelchair. Nobody knows where she is, causing Fan Mo and his father to worry for her safety. The monster hunters and some military soldiers prepare to go to the school. Fan Mo begs to join their mission in hopes of finding his sister, promising not to interfere in their mission. Xingxia has been in hiding with a group of civilians in a basement. They begin to panic because if they don't make a move toward the protective barrier, it will eventually be hunted down by the monsters and killed. The man who saved Xingxia from a one-eyed wolf suggests using the underground tunnels to reach the barrier since no monsters should be in them. He knows the tunnel as well since he has been a pipeline worker for years. Thinking this is a good idea, everybody starts rushing to the nearest underground pipe. However, an Epigraph school rule in a group stays behind and asks them to help Xingxia come along. They all refuse to put their lives on the line for a crippled girl, and the pipes are too narrow to fit a wheelchair anyway. After they leave, the girl offers to carry Xingxia with her, but Xingxia insists she be left behind. As a last favor, she asks the girl to give her bracelet to a boy named Fan Mo when she reaches the protected barrier and to tell him that she's dead and that he should continue living in her stead. Once the girl leaves, Xingxia goes through the boxes in the basement and picks up a knife. The special team, consisting of a few military soldiers and the monster hunters, travels through the city using the monster hunters' special car with an engine that prevents detection by monsters. However, part of the road toward the school is blocked. They decide to walk the rest of the way. The wind mage from the monsters hunters scouts the area, successfully blowing away two Cyclops monsters that try to attack him with his level 3 floating shadow ability. Officer Chang uses ice magic of Star Chart level to kill multiple Cyclops in one go. These guys are the real deal. On walking to the school, they hear screams coming from an alley. Fan Mo instinctively moves to help them, but Officer Cheng orders him to stop, saying their mission is to find the underground tunnel in the school and destroy it, not saving people's lives. A man emerges from the sewers, all bloodied up, and collapses at the feet of the team. Him and the others were the people from the basement. They use the underground tunnels in the sewer system to escape, thinking it is free of monsters, but the sewer is, in fact, the nest of the Cyclops. These people walked into their deaths. Fan Mo spots a corpse of a schoolgirl with the same bracelet he gifted to Xingxia on her 16th birthday, making him think it is Xingxia. He rushes toward the body and realizes it isn't his sister's, but confirms that the bracelet is Xingxia's. This would mean that this girl had met Xingxia before being attacked by the Cyclops in the sewers. Additionally, the man who died just now was wearing the uniform of the supermarket in the Epigraph Mall. These clues point towards Xingxia being somewhere in the mall. The special team wishes Fan Mo luck, and they part ways. After transforming into magical gear, Fan Mo makes his way toward the supermarket. Xingxia sneaks her way around the supermarket, trying to find a way out. One of the Cyclops detects her, but she abandons her wheelchair and stuffs herself into a refrigerator. The monster destroys her wheelchair, expecting to see a person, but leaves disappointed. Two hooded Black Curia members, one with a big nose and the other in full armor, monitor the city's state from atop a roof. Since the military knows about the entrance in Epigraph Junior High School, they must be killed before they destroy the tunnel there. But to decide, it is best to let most of the members die at the hands of the monsters and take care of the rest when they are weakened. They spot a bright light from a thunder attack in the distance, but one in the full armor recognizes him and tells the other to stay back as he kills the Thunder Mage himself. You guessed it, the Thunder Mage was Fan Mo. He defeats the monster with the thunder attack, but gets ambushed by a shadowy figure. Fan Mo dodges it and enters the mall. The Arbor Man stands on a beam above him and praises him for dodging the figure. Fan Mo asks who he is. The man slowly removes his mask to reveal himself as Ang Yu, the one Fan Mo defeated in the duel. Did you see that coming? He reveals that he dealt with Master Mu's bullying and abuse for 10 years in order to gain access to the Sacred Spring during his Coming of Age event. He was so close to achieving his goal, but Fan Mo disrupted all his plans and Ang Yu failed to deliver on his mission for the Black Curia. They punish him for his failure by permanently scaring half of his face. If it weren't for Fan Mo, the city would have already been destroyed and Ang Yu would have been promoted to a higher rank by now. After venting his frustrations, Ang Yu brings out a dark sphere from which he releases black puddles, each giving ride to a black beast. Fan Mo runs away from the beasts using both his elements. The Big Nose member calls Ang Yu, informing him that the military has reached the school and that they must divert their attention there. Ang Yu refuses to come at first, wishing to see Fan Mo's death with his own eyes. However, fearing another punishment, he leaves his pets behind to finish Fan Mo off. Fan Mo tries his best to avoid the beasts, but eventually gets surrounded. He locks himself into the CCTV surveillance room, where he sees a destroyed wheelchair on one of the screens. On the screen above, he spots Xingxia hiding in a refrigerator in the supermarket. Fan Mo recalls the captain teaching him that Cyclops have poor eyesight and mainly rely on their eyes to detect heat signatures. Hence, if you want to hide from them, the best solution is to use ice magic. Despite the stressful situation, Xingxia was smart enough to hide in the refrigerator to avoid being detected. The black beasts have been pounding against the door this entire time, causing the door to break open. Determined to save his sister, Fan Mo focuses hard to conjure a powerful spell. To his surprise, the pendant glows with the help of the Sacred Spring's energy and causes him to level up to Nebula. He aligns the 49 stars in his nebula to form a star chart. By the time the beasts ram the door down, his body gets surrounded by star chart fire and he uses the notebook of star chart that Miss Tang gave him to attack the beasts with the star chart level Fire Fist spell. The other beasts try to run away, but he takes them down with single fire and thunder attacks. Meanwhile, Xingxia tries slowly crawling away from the Cyclops in the supermarket, but one of them detects her. She stabs his eye with the knife she carried before it can bite her. The other Cyclops monsters run toward her, but start feeding on the dead Cyclops body. She uses the opportunity to roll under a low shelf where they can't reach her. Fan Mo comes to her rescue, setting the monsters ablaze with his newly acquired fire powers. Xingxia comes out of her hiding spot but goes out cold in his arms. Her body temperature reached deadly lows due to the long time she spent hiding in the fridge. Fan Mo warns her up with a fire circle around them, causing her to regain consciousness. He's overjoyed to see his sister alive and returns the bracelet to her. He carries her out of the supermarket in his arms and shares that he has reached Star Chart level in his fire talent. The slave level monsters seem to detect his power and avoid them. They should be fine as long as they stay away from warrior level monsters. They sit on a bench and discuss the missing girl in her school. Xinxia believes the Cyclops didn't kidnap her on the day of the attack. She had seen her walk the same way that a mysterious person dressed in gray went. Phantom Mo guesses that the person was a Black Curia member and that the girl discovered the hidden opening of the underground tunnel at the school, because of which she was killed. Phantom Mo decides to drop Xinxia off of the safety barrier and then leave for the school to assist the special team. However, he feels giddy due to a wound he received while fighting the Black Beasts. Xinxia takes his arm and uses her healing magic to close his wound. Phantom Mo praises her commendable healing skills and tells her to use her healing magic on the injured refugees inside the barrier. On their way, he asks her if she had ever seen strange holes in the school. She recalls there being a giant hole in the school's field on the day of the attack. She urges him to stay inside the barrier with her since he still isn't powerful enough to defeat strong monsters. However, Phantom Mo cannot stand to do anything as the city they grew up in falls apart. He's always wanted to be a successful mage that brings honor and safety to his family, and so he must perform the duties of a mage during this dire time. Otherwise, he will regret his actions all his life. Noticing his determination, Xinxia decides to accompany him, saying she will also regret it if she isn't there to protect her brother now. Phantom Mo speeds to the roads on a motorbike, and Xinxia realizes he is taking a route toward the protected barrier, not the school. Their path is blocked by a warrior-level thorn-faced wolf. Phantom Mo takes a U-turn and tries to move in the other direction, but the wolf keeps following them. He drives the bike into a narrow alleyway, and they hide under one of the buildings on the side, successfully causing the wolf to lose their trail. He admits he has no idea how to defeat a warrior-level monster. A special team arrives at the school and finds the opening of the underground tunnel in the fields, just as Xinxia said. Officer Chang uses his ice powers to save a girl who miraculously survived so far from a Cyclops monster. The monster hunter's water mage takes the girl to a safe spot while the rest try to destroy the opening by releasing their powers together. However, it has no effect and causes more monsters to emerge from the hole. At the same time, the big-nosed Black Curia member and a masked Angyu appear. Angyu removes the mask and says that since the monster hunters treated him well in the past, he would let them live if they leave the hole alone. All of them are taken by surprise when they realize Angyu is a part of the Black Curia. They shame him for betraying the Mew family that treated him so well. This triggers him, and he attacks from his ice powers. The monster hunters immediately retaliate with their elements. Clearly outnumbered, the other Black Curia member runs away like a coward to try and save himself. Angyu strikes him down with ice shards and releases Black Beasts on the special team. Meanwhile, the outpost instructors headed by Kang Zhan approach the massive Pterolicus. The commander-level Pterolicus spots them and descends to the ground behind a small army of slave and warrior-level monsters. Commander-level monsters are intelligent beings, making them especially difficult to beat. It gives out a loud roar which seems to control the lower-level monsters. They all charge toward the tiny group of soldiers. Kang Zhan's team urges him to save his mana for the Pterolicus since he is the only one to stand a chance against it, while they take care of the mobs of monsters. Sure enough, the highly trained instructors take down the strong warrior-level thorn-faced wolves and clear the path for their leader. By the time Kang Zhan comes face-to-face with the Pterolicus, all of his loyal instructors have lost their lives. The Pterolicus flies toward the top of the building again, and Kang Zhan follows with the help of his wings. They fight a fierce battle, with the commander launching Zodiac-level fire magic skills to defeat the Pterolicus. After seeing this attack, Phantom Mo realizes this is the critical time to destroy the underground tunnels and goes straight to the school instead of the protected barrier. He uses his Star Chart level fire magic to defeat the thorn-faced wolf there and seal the opening of the underground tunnel in the school. Angyu fled the scene once Phantom Mo arrived, promises to destroy Phantom Mo by destroying the city one day. Everybody at the protected barrier spectates Phantom Mo's display of power with awe. Our hero wonders if all the trouble has finally ended.